So hello viewers. Today we have with us Madhur. He's from NSIT 2017 to 2021 batch. During placement, he bagged offer from Planetspark, ZS, and Bain. So out of these three, two were on campus, that is Planetspark and Bain, and ZS was off campus. So finally he decided to go with Bain. So it's time to ask him how he did this. So Madhur, what was your preparation strategy?
Hi Rishabh, thank you for having me here. So, talking about my preparation strategy for Planetspark, this was the first company that I got into, and I applied for this in February during my training and placement process. And the strategy for this was it was actually a profile for business development for which the company came. It was business development associate, like it was a sales profile. So I tried the process. The first round for this was GD, that is the group discussion round. Like first of all, there was a list of around 100 candidates who were asked to participate in GD. So after one GD, there was another round of GD. It was more intensive than the previous one. And after following these two GDs, I would say that around a list of 40 candidates was created. So
Okay.
now in this third round of for the 40 candidates, it was a role play round. So
Okay.
basically, we were asked to play the role of a buyer and a customer
Okay.
one by one. And after this role play round, we got shortlisted further in for around 15 candidates were shortlisted. So
Okay.
in this role play round, we had to use some sales techniques and strategies to convince the other party to sell our product or to buy a product, depending on the role that you are playing.
Okay.
Now, talking about the final round in this, it was a basic HR round, I would say. They asked me normal questions about my previous experience and my life and my family and why I want to go into sales job. So yeah,
Okay.
I guess that was it.
Mm. So what I want to ask is that what was your strategy? Like, did you also prepare for some, like from other any resources?
For this Planetspark role, I did not actually, to be frank. But yeah, in the role play round, I was a little bit curious as to this was a new round for I guess everyone. So I was prepared a list of different ideas and strategies that I would use so that can make my sales pitch better. For example, we had to in this role play round we had to sell smoke detectors and like equipment like this, which help in the case of fire. So I just employed some ideas and wrote down some points. Like we were given 4 or 5 days before the role play round was conducted. So I took the use of those time and created some tips and ideas so that they can help me in that.
So what was that business development, the profile you mentioned was about? Like, was it like involving case studies and all, or was it something else, complete sales type job? Yeah.
No, it was nothing related to case studies. It was actually okay. I'll tell you what actually included in the role that I was there at Planetspark. So, business development basically is developing the business of the company. That Planetspark is actually a startup that provides classes for public speaking and creative writing for students from class KG to 8. So, our main aim was to create leads and generate new leads from ourselves, and also we were given a set of leads, and we had to try to convert those leads into potential customers and convince them
Okay.
to buy our classes. That was the
Okay.
main job we had on our ends. Nothing
Okay.
related to business analyst or case study and everything like that.
Okay. So what was the package or CTC there?
Okay, so the package that the company promised to us when it came to our college was 7, but the fixed package in this was quite less, I would say, around 4.4, 2.5.
Oh,
Yeah.
and like, variable depending on your
This
performance.
yeah and the rest was variable 2.5 lakh. It was depending upon the performance. Like we were given weekly targets of a certain amount, and if someone overachieved those targets, we would be getting certain incentives, and they had some conditions for that.
Okay. So now talking about the Bain and ZS. So how did you prepare for these? Like because these cracking these two companies is a very difficult job.
Okay, yeah, I'll just explain those. So after like I started working at Planetspark in June. So after my 2.5 months, I would say, I thought of switching to consulting jobs. So
Okay.
I tried for ZS, and for ZS I applied in July. Yeah, I guess July I applied off campus, and I got a link for a test around 1 week after I applied. So the first round that was it was like an aptitude round. Like it had questions for English and like basic mental aptitude, the sort of questions that you get in CAT as well, like logical
Okay.
reasoning and quantitative aptitude questions. And after those questions, there were a list of, I guess, 8 questions of making questions, decision based questions. They were known as PSDD questions, if I remember
Okay.
correctly. So these questions were actually related to my profile, which I applied for. It was DA profile, Decision Analytics Associate. So there were 8 questions related to that, and all the questions were all these 2 rounds were elimination rounds. Like after I cleared the aptitude and English part, I was able to attend the those 8 questions. And after those 8 questions, there was another round. It was like AI based interview questions. We had to submit 8 questions again on this, and these were all video recorded at simultaneously. Like these questions were like, what do you do if you are stuck in some situation at work where you have to use your morals and go against your seniors?
Okay.
Such sort of questions, or elaborate about a time in your workspace where you achieve something going against the normal routine and it was very challenging for you. So these questions just tested us on the basis of our personality and how we use our qualities to showcase us ourselves and come out of difficult situations. So these were the 3 rounds that were there for when I got the test link, and all the 3 rounds were elimination rounds.
Okay.
So talking about my preparation for the rounds, for the first aptitude and uh, ability questions, I just went through some basic questions from India Bits. It's a site for aptitude questions. Also, one can go through books like Arun Sharma's Quantitative Aptitude and some books. But I would say they are not very
That is for
difficult.
cat, right? That
Yeah,
is for cat preparation.
yeah, for the book that is there for CAT, the sort of aptitude questions that are there in that book are the ones that we get in this. But the level of these questions is not that high. Like if anyone
Okay.
is interested to a lot, then they can do from that book. Otherwise, any normal site for aptitude questions do,
Hmm.
would be enough.
So nice. So after those AI based round, was there some other rounds before the final section is GS?
Yeah. So after these 3 rounds, I was able to clear all the 3 rounds. So I got a call after a lot of time for another round. That was the case study test.
Okay.
So it was a case study round. It was in the morning around 8 o'clock for me, and it was a case study. Basically, it had a different questions related to a case. Like in my case, it was a company that had a product, and I had to answer different questions
Hmm.
related to the sales and marketing strategy of that
Okay.
company pertaining to that case.
Okay.
So in this case study test, I was like, if I talk about my preparation, I went through the book Case in Point for my case study preparation.
Okay.
Like I went through some of the cases in the book by Mark Constantino, that book is. And apart from that, there is a YouTube channel that I refer to. I think it's Case Interviews Crime. So I
Yeah.
went
Yeah.
through some of the cases in that book,
Hmm.
and I think that helped me a lot to help tackle those case study test questions.
Okay. So was it
Yeah,
more
and
like idea? Sorry to interrupt. So was it
no,
more
you
like idea based? You have to give ideas, or was it based on numericals and quant?
it was actually a mix of both. The questions in the case study test, some of them were numerical questions and some of them were idea based. So basically, what happened was after the case study test, there was time allotted to each and every candidate for a case study interview. The discussion of that same case was to be done with the consultant of the CST in the
Okay.
afternoon at some sort of time. So we had to submit our case study test at that time. The test was given on a platform, and then we had to discuss that with the interviewer in the afternoon session. So some of them were numerical based questions, which we have to solve in a sheet and send them, and some of them were idea based questions, which we have to discuss with our interviewer.
And after that, you proceed to the HR, right?
Yeah. So after the case study round, there was an HR round the next day. Uh, and one more thing I would like to add is if like for candidates whose case study interview, case interview goes well, the interviewer asks estimate questions as well. Like in my case, I was asked a basic estimate question at the end of case interview, and one puzzle. Yeah, one puzzle in that. and the next day I had an HR round.
Okay. So now let's come to Bain. That's the place you finally decided to go. So how did you crack the Bain?
Okay, so talking about my experience in the recruitment process for Bain, I would say that it was very unlikely time that it came for me. Like I had already got an offer from CS, so but still I thought let's try for it, and I applied for Bain. Like Bain came into our college for candidates who had already passed out of the college, and they allowed us to sit for it. So talking about the process, the first round. So first of all, there was a short list of 60 candidates that were there for the test. So in that test, like a lot of students, around more than 100 students applied for this company, but only 60 candidates were allowed to sit for the test based on
So
resume and CV and CGPA shortlisting.
okay.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
the test had around 20 questions, and these were a little different from the test of CS, I would say.
Okay.
We had 1 hour to solve these 20 questions, and 15 of them, around 15 were logical ability questions and related to problem solving and in, uh, wanted some mathematical calculations. And around
Okay.
4 or 5 of them were decision making questions related to
Okay.
the situation that was given in those questions.
Okay.
Yeah, so after this numerical sort of test was completed, I got a call from HR after 2 3 days that you are shortlisted for the interview process for Bain and your test went
Okay.
good, and we will be considering you for this and this profile, and we would like for you to attend the interviews.
Okay.
So talking about the interviews, the first round of interview was uh, basically a guesstimate interview. Like that was the main point of interaction throughout the interview. It was taken by a project leader at Bain, and first of all, he was a very good interviewer, and he made me very comfortable. And then it went on for around 45 to 50 minutes on the basis of an guesstimate only. So what happened in this was it was a very detailed discussion compared to other, I would say, rounds that I've given for other companies. So the guesstimate was very detailed, and he wanted to know each and every point of my approach and how I went here and how I decided to choose this metric and not that metric, and which all the metrics I have not included, and why should they not be there in my calculations.
Yeah.
So it was a thorough discussion of the guesstimate.
Okay. Um.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after the guesstimate was cleared, I was within 10 minutes I got a call that yes, you are have cleared this round, and you will be getting another round from a manager of Bain Capabilities Network. So
Yeah.
after 1 hour, there was another round with the manager. It was an HR round. So I
Okay.
was expecting some HR questions in that, basic HR fit questions, but that was not the case. So in this round, I was given a hypothetical case situation.
Okay.
Like this was a case for a company that is starting in the market, and it has different competitors. It was basically a retail bottle company,
So
which is a
market
private
entry
bottle
case.
company.
So that was a
Yeah,
market
you
entry
can
case.
say it was starting in another domain which has already is existing in normal retail, but this these company of bottled uh, makers are starting now in the hospitality domain in one of the cities that is a tourist city in the state of Rajasthan. So I
Okay.
had to calculate the requirement and the market size that we required for this spot in that
Okay.
city. Yeah. So that was the whole discussion in like the starting discussion in that interview, the
Yeah.
market entry of this product. And at the end of this discussion of the case, there were some basic HR questions that were asked, like why I want to come into this field and why consulting and why I'm leaving my previous job
So
and what
within this
was my
round or some
experience.
next round? Within this round,
No,
they asked
within
for.
this round only,
Okay.
within this round at the end of the interview. After the case, hypothetical case questions were covered.
Okay. So
Yeah, so that was it.
yeah. So what was the CTC ZS was offering, and what's the CTC Bain is offering now, right now?
Okay, so for the DA profile that I applied for, ZS was offering 7.5 lakh fixed CTC
Okay.
per annum.
Okay.
And for Bain and Company, the CTC fix was 9 lakhs. But out of that, 8 lakh was fixed, and some other part was bonus based, performance bonus.
Okay. That's nice. So before leaving, any tips or tricks you would like to uh, give to your juniors who possibly be sitting for the ZS and Bain this year?
Yeah, so first of all, one tip that I also faced a problem and I realized it late was to be very calm in those case interviews and guesstimates, because the time that you get to collect your thoughts between the time that the interviewer asks you and then time that you note the guesstimate questions, that time can be very awkward and very intimidating for you. So try to be calm and think of an approach that you can explain to the interviewer that is you also think is logical and will be helping you to clear that round. And apart from that, one skill tip I would give is go through the that is the JD, that is the job description that is given. Like what is the role that the company is offering? Like an example of for Bain, the profile that I'm working is in data sets and technology. So in the first round that was there for Bain, the interview round, he also grilled me a little on the COE that is there for me, that is data sets and technology. So I had gone through that. So that also helped me in having a conversation with the interviewer.
So thanks, Madhu. That would be all for today. Thanks for your valuable advice.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, and
Thank you a lot
see
for
you.
your time, man. See you, man.
Yeah, thank you, Rishabh.
Thank you.